it's the Geek back for another Formers Friday, and we got a big one today. We're going to start with their alt modes, their beast modes, if you want to call them that, since they are technically the original Predacons. I'm going to introduce you to the guys. I'm going to show you each character individually. So from left to right, we've got, let's see here. We got Torox. No, that's not Torox. Wow, I'm tired. We got Headstrong, Dive Bomb, Razor Claw, Rampage. Not the Rampage from Beast Wars, just so you know. And then Torox. I think that's not the right name. I'm going to look up the original names right now. The only difference here is that Torox was originally Tantrum, this guy over here. I don't know why they changed that. I'm guessing it was a rights issue where they couldn't call him that anymore. But, yeah, we're going to go ahead and take a look at their separated beast modes. Okay, guys. Here we are starting with Headstrong. He's a rhino. He's got the cannony backpack, which I love how they've integrated the combiner pieces with the actual weaponry of the figure. It's pretty bulky, pretty beefy. It's a pretty cool rhino. And we're going to take a look at his robot mode in a bit. Next we have Dive Bomb, which is the pterodactyl character. He's harder to display. I've seen him shown... I've seen him shown like this sometimes. But why would you display him like that? I don't get that. I'd want him to at least be like in mid-flight somehow, if you could give that. But to be honest, like, the only way I'm displaying these guys is as the combiner. So Dive Bomb is actually at least in beast form my least favorite of the figures. Only because of how hard he is to display. Caca! Next we have Razor Claw. This figure's pretty cool. I like him a lot. Especially since he actually carries a matrix in him, if it'll let me show it to you. I don't remember how it opens up. Maybe like this? Yeah, there we go. And we'll take a look at that a little later. But Razor Claw is pretty cool. Like, the problem I have with all these figures is that they're a little goofy to display in their beast modes. But that's Razor Claw. He's pretty cool. I do like how some of their hinges work. Their jaws. Brr, brr. Next, we have Rampage. This one, I don't know. That's as high as his head will come up in beast form. I do not like that. And they're all really bulky and clunky, but because of the size of the combiner, I'll accept it. But it's not easily hidden why they're so bulky, and we'll see that more as we transform them into combiner mode. And then finally, in our beast form segment, we have Torox, which I will stop calling him. He is Tantrum, and that's all I'm going to call him. And he's kind of stuck to a degree. He has no mouth hinge, which bothers me. Even though there's this joint here that's clearly meant to be some kind of hinge or something. But when you look, oh no, his head's there. So there's no way a hinge is going to work there. But whatever. If you see this big black thing, that's part of the combiner issue. So like they don't really hide very well the combining element. But that's fine. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at robot mode.
The Transformers will return after these messages.
You Decepticons can stand up to the Dinobots, but the Predacons can. The Predacons not only transform into robots, but into one gigantic robot, predaking.
Transformers, more than meets the eye.
Transform the Predacons!
The Transformers,
It's the Dinobots!
The Transformers, each sold separately from Hasbro. We now return to the Transformers.
Okay, guys, first we got Headstrong in robot mode, and I think this is true at least of him and Tantrum. Their swivel joints on their hips are really loose, so it's very hard to get them to stay standing, especially with this thing making them so top heavy. And then especially with this back thing making them so back heavy. Let's see if he'll stay standing after I've moved him. Okay. But other than that, I really like it. But he's really beefy and bulky, which is okay if there's a genuine reason for that. They're just bigger because they wanted the combiner to be bigger, which I guess is okay, but at the same time it feels like there's so much going on here that they could have done something with. Like, this chest cavity looks like it should be able to open up for some reason, but it doesn't. It's just there. But again, I do like how they've made the combiner pieces a part of the weaponry and like a justification of them having it outside of the combiner mode. The legs are a little hollow and empty, and I don't like how the arms are very noticeable to be like the legs in their beast mode. I guess it's okay because it's kind of what they're trying to promote as beast Transformers, but whatever. Alright, next is Dive-Bomb, and I like him a lot more. For one, he's a little bit back heavy, especially with these wings, but he looks cool, and he doesn't wobble. I love that. And we got the big cannons, and these wings move, but I'm not going to move them right now because, alright, I'll show you. They fold in and out, and that's awesome. He's solid. I love how he holds the guns. I love how you can display him. He's a lot more fun to display as in robot mode. And I really enjoy him. I enjoy most of these figures, but this guy in Razor Claw seem very solid, as well as Rampage. Those three figures are really solid. Now, I don't know how the original figure transformed, but the way this version works is the wings detach from him, and the main bot becomes an arm, and the wings become the back of the wings of the big main guy. And it took me a minute to realize that, because it's like, hey, there's only 5 guys, but this guy's supposed to be in the back. No, he's not. He's supposed to be an arm. Okay, guys, next we have Razor Claw. Razor Claw is a pretty solid figure. I love this beefy cannon. The problem is it's a little loose and doesn't want to stay there. I'm glad it's wanting to stay there now. He has a matrix inside him. And it's like, what is it? The Enigma of Combination, or whatever you want to call it. They were really trying to sell these Power of the Prime things. And this was the only way you could get this Prime. And I forget his name. I will look it up before we get to the end of this video. But Razor Claw is really solid, and he's not as bulky as a lot of his other figures, or as a lot of his other buddies. I love it. I love owning this figure. He's really awesome. And his joints are all solid and tight, and that's a real plus, especially when the 2 leg figures are not that solid and tight in the hip joints. Next we have Rampage, and this guy is interesting, because there was a Rampage in the Beast Wars show, and I think in some versions of the comics or something, they tried to tie in that the Predacons were the original Predacons that offshooted to be all Decepticons during the time of Beast Wars. But I don't know anything about that, so we're not going to deal with that. This is just Rampage. He's a cat bot guy. And again, he's really solid and tight, and he's not wobbling or anything. His gun stays where it wants to go. I love it. I'm so happy that this figure is like this. It's just more praise that I've been giving to the other figures of this run. But we got one more bot to go, so let's take a look at him. And finally we have Torox, which his original name was Tantrum, so I'm going to just keep calling him Tantrum. And he is just like, what's the other guy's name? He is just like Headstrong, physically, like build-wise. I think the only difference really would be like maybe some cosmetic things like the chest. And his head is a boar or bull instead of a rhino. His joints are actually a little more solid than Headstrong's, which is awesome. But again, the chest is bulky for no reason. The legs are hollow. And that happens. You know, like, these guys were only available in a box set. And you get what you pay for. He's pretty pricey, but he's pretty big, so it's definitely worth it. Quality-wise, these guys are a much higher step up from the originals as far as, like, transformation and appearance. They look a lot better. They're much more fun for a kid to play with if you want to play with them. But that's it for the robot mode, so let's go ahead and take a look at that final mode. Okay guys, here he is. This is Predaking. And he is a beefy guy, so much so that he wouldn't even remotely fit in my little set here. And you can see why his components are super beefy and bulky. Like, he's going to look big enough to handle somebody like Fortress Maximus. He's going to be big, so I don't know where to begin on this. He's big, he's solid, he looks really good, but there are parts of him that feel very hollow and empty and almost, I don't want to say shoddy, but kind of cheap. He's definitely not cheap. And he definitely holds together well. And maybe he's hollow like that just to keep him to be affordable. At least affordable for the time at $100 plus. But I'm very happy to have him. He is an awesome figure, and I would definitely recommend him to anybody wanting to get a combiner. As of right now, he's actually the king of the combiners, as well as the king of the Predacons. And I'm just in awe of figures like this. He's complete, he's solid, he's not going anywhere. He also has, as we've said a couple times, a matrix, which is sometimes called the dark or onyx matrix. It's very hard to open up the matrix piece, chamber or whatever, in combiner form, but we'll take it out. Sorry, you're just not getting a good view of anything good, but let's back up a little bit. That's the onyx matrix is what we'll call it, and inside it is Onyx Prime. And I don't like the gimmicks of the Primes. I liked the Headmasters and Power Masters. This Prime crap, it's cool for, like, giving the Transformers more lore and a religious sense like they did in Beast Wars, but I don't want to see more Prime crap. I want to see stuff referencing the original anime that we never got. But that's it for Predaking today, and that's it for me today. If you like this video, we've got a ton more over at the Pop Culture Network about comics, games, movies, all sorts of nerd stuff. Please check us out. We're on Twitter, Facebook, all sorts of social media outlets. We've got a 24-hour hotline. Please give us a call if you want to let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, what you want to see more of, what you want to see less of, all that kind of stuff. If you want to see more of my videos outside of the Pop Culture Network, go ahead and find me on YouTube under youtube.com/TheGeekReviews. But that's it for me this week, so until next time, this is The Geek for the Pop Culture Network, saying good journey.